Michelle Gardner, Arizona Republic. Coach, can you tell us a little bit about how Jayden's matured from a leadership standpoint? Usually your quarterback's your talkative guy, and he's kind of more by example than verbal.
Yeah, he's got a quieter personality, but he's really starting to improve it and see the value in just even his urgency and just how he's attacking practice with his overall effort, and just caring about his development, more through practice. And he's starting to become, more of a vocal leader, and a lot of it has to do with his body language. It doesn't have to always be, saying stuff. It can be, how he presents himself in the huddle, how he presents himself on the field, like the urgency of getting guys up to the ball, just that type of stuff, And so I think he's more detailed in his preparation with practice. And then once he gets into practice, you can see the urgency and the want to develop, and the guys see that too. And that's a big part of the leadership, earning that respect.
As a follow-up to that, is that obviously something at the next level they're going to want him to be more vocal, so he needs to kind of learn it now? 100%.
Yeah, I mean, you're in the huddle a whole lot more, at the next level, and you're talking and communicating, and there's a lot of stuff that's going on. So. With whether it's in the meeting room, communication, or on the board, being able to drop plays, thinking through defenses, or just on the field with the guys, and you want to have a guy that you can connect with and have some personality and have some energy, and that's really what we're trying to, work on with him, and he's doing a good job of that. He's being intentional.
There are obviously a lot of wide receivers that are vying for reps in this passing game. Through these first couple of days, what have you seen from these guys?
Yeah, first of all, they're managing the heat. We're getting used to the heat out there and having that 2-hour practice, and getting all those reps and the individual drills and all that stuff, and then figuring out, especially the new guy, with Bryan Thomson, the little different climate down here. So they all want reps. They're all competitive. It's a great room from that standpoint, and they're all hungry. They're hungry to make plays. We know there isn't a lot of experience and a lot of stats from that crew. That's fine. They're gonna create stats, and they know that this year. And so we're trying to find where the new pieces go, who's right in what positions. We need guys inside, outside. So we got a chance to do that in spring, which was good. But then fall camp is that another round of like, all right, who's stepping up, who's going to be our playmakers, and those guys know it's a eval every single day.
And Coach, to kind of piggyback off that too, I asked Coach Edwards and Coach Aguano yesterday, I mean, with the dominance obviously that the running backs had last year, how can you keep that going, but also how can that help the growth of these younger receivers?
Definitely. When you have a good run game, that opens up things in the pass game, and I think we've established the fact that we've got 2 really good running backs, and really a third in Daniel, Nagata, and he just hasn't been highlighted as much, but he looks really good out there too, and so that running back room, from that standpoint, the running back room is challenges themselves constantly. They do a really good job with, they're motivating themselves, challenging themselves, and then they go out there and do it, and they perform at a high level. For the receivers now, and really for Jayden, as they're packing the box, that opens up opportunities. Now we've got to win one-on-ones and get those guys, enough reps from the wide receiver crew. So Jayden feels comfortable with them and the timing, and that's what fall camp's all about. And then, but the complement of a great run game opens up a lot of things.
Hey Zach, can you talk about your understanding of the personnel and how that might be different from going into last season, and how that can kind of help you craft what you guys are trying to do?
For sure. Without getting into too much specifics, but coming in as a first-year OC, not really knowing the personnel, and you're trying to figure that out quickly. And you get 4 games to now figure that out as well. But moving into this year, into a spring ball, into a fall camp, you got to feel for the guys and what they're good at. And so now we can, with our offense, we're going to piece the personnel around to where we need them. And so it's not just, hey, Johnny's going to be to the right every single time. We're going to move guys around, a lot of different personnels and shifts and motions and stuff like that. And so utilizing those guys, in the right way is going to be key for us. Getting our best personnel on the field, whatever formations those are for us, and then being smart too with Jayden and Jayden's skills. What does his skill set look like, and really what are the best plays for him? So,
Coach, Lena Washington, 12 News. We talked about yesterday how you guys have a very seasoned and experienced secondary and defensive line. Is that kind of like an iron sharpens iron mentality when these guys are lining up against your receivers?
Absolutely. Our defense is really, really good. We saw that for the last 2 days. I mean, our defensive, they're able to get up in your face, and they're physical and they're athletic, and at all three levels, the D-line, the linebackers, and the secondary are confident. They're physical and they're athletic, and they got good speed. So it's a definite, iron sharpens iron situation, and our receivers are feeling that, our O-line's feeling that, and that's going to make us way better.
Hi, Zach Hill, Devils Digest. I know that you wanted to walk that fine line of installing as much as you can in the offense without overwhelming the players, and obviously had a lot of young players, especially wide receiver. Do you feel the progress in that sense from spring practice 2020 to 2021 and spring practice 21 to fall camp right now as being able to effectively put more on their plate and have them execute at the level you want them to execute at this point of the preseason?
100%. The guys now in this second year, they know the operation, they know what to expect. So there's not the what's going to happen. They're anticipating things. We can make adjustments in practice, easily. And so I just think from a confidence standpoint and them understanding what to do, and then now we can build on what we're doing in fall camp through the season. And hey, we did this one way, we're going to do this out of this formation and add this motion, and then carry that into the future game planning with each group, So excited about the crew of guys that we've got. I think they're hungry for more and hungry for this offense. And like I said, everybody's competitive right now and wants touches and wants a piece of it. So it's good to see.
Zach, there were a few drops there towards the end of practice. What have you thought just overall through 2 days about some of the execution in the passing game in particular?
Yeah, we had a lot, a couple mental errors, some drops. At the tail end of practice, and when we brought them together as a group, just the effort of, hey, mentally we got to be sharper when we're tired, and we're tired. I get it. We're out of condition right now. We got to get used to the heat, okay, and we're getting back into this, structured atmosphere where it's full day football, okay? And now you got to come out, and when it's at the tail end of practice, that's the biggest time where you got to be mentally tough. And focus on what we're doing, because we had way too many mental errors, from a focus standpoint, mental toughness, and then just a conditioning standpoint and getting used to the heat. That's some of the big things we brought up to them after practice.
You mentioned Bryan Thomson. Just what does he bring? It seems like he has a big play capability to his game. What will incorporating him do for you guys?
Yeah, he's very. He's overall a very good receiver. He does everything pretty well. He's got good speed. He's got good quickness. He's strong. He's got good hands. He's a good route runner. He's going to be a good blocker for us. But right now for him, it's a lot of the mental side of things. Trying to see the signals and going, okay, where do I line up? What do I do? So that slows you down a little bit, especially in the first few practices. So he's getting used to the operation. But I think when it's all said and done, and he gets used to this structure, because he's seen a lot of different offenses now. He's had to learn a lot of different offenses, and so I think he's a smart kid that will learn it quick, and then once he feels more comfortable out there with what he's doing, we'll start seeing more and more plays out of him.